My name is Roger Thornton. I'm the owner of Angel Comics. We're located in Houston, Texas. We've been in business about 2.5 years now. We're an independent comic book company. We like to consider Houston our third coast, and so we really want to push the location that we're in, Houston, Texas. We have several projects coming out in the next few months. We're releasing all of our #1 books in Orlando, Florida at the MegaCon. We have books like Coda, Children of the Apocalypse, Malison, The Calling, and I'm not the only artist here in Angel Comics. We have several other artists, some located in different countries around the world. We're going to be one of the exhibitors, actually not in Artist Alley, but actually on the floor right next to Marvel and DC and other larger companies like that. Some of the first conventions we went to were anime conventions. Well, the first one was right here in Houston, and it was one called Onicon. We also went to Wizard World, Texas, located in Arlington, Texas. That one's held every year, and it's one of the 4 major conventions that Wizard World gives. And Wizard is a major comic book magazine. And hopefully this year we can get an interview with them. We've already talked to several of the people with that, and they want to help to promote Angel Comics. We're going to debut several of our projects this year at MegaCon in Orlando, Florida in February of 2009, February the 27th, 28th, and the 1st of March. Yes, some of the samples of the books that we have that we're going to be debuting in Florida are one of our first books that we put out was called Coming Out Hard. We introduced this at Wizard World, Texas in 2008. The book did fairly well, but it showcases most of our artists and a lot of the projects that we're working on, our process for making comic books, and developing characters, and different things like that. And this is our debut book, all right? The second project we did was called Angel Comics Fully Loaded. This one was introduced also in Florida, and it showcases the #1 issues of our first 4 books, which is Children of the Apocalypse, Badass, Bureau of Alien Detection and Supernatural Sightings, Malison, which is done by Mike Brooks, and The Calling. Some of the first books we started out with was The Angelic Wars. This was a series of comic books that I did featuring the angels, and shows about the war that took place. We did 3 issues of this book and sold over 30,000 copies just in Houston alone by word of mouth. That's when we decided, well, you know, if we're selling that many books, why don't we go nationwide and see how it does there? So far, we've done pretty well. And then the book that has sold quite a bit for us, and one that we're featuring the most, is Children of the Apocalypse. It's the story of a young girl who becomes a rebel during the apocalypse, but instead of telling it from a biblical point of view or from a theological point of view, I actually took it and wrote the story as if you were living it with this 17-year-old girl. And for the next 3.5 years, you basically go through her ups and downs, trials and tribulations, and as she chronicles it all in the Coda Diaries. The story is basically if you took the diary of Anne Frank, gave her 2 guns, and have her join the French Revolution and fight her way through the Second World War. So it's akin to that. I started out doing comic books back when I was working with the Houston Fire Department. I was the assistant chaplain there for over 6.5 years. I taught Bible studies for over 18 years. And I was always invited to go and talk to young people at the boot camps and the different rehab centers and things like this. And I found that going in as a chaplain, I had a chance to reach the kids, but I wanted to have something that would actually grab their attention and grab their interest. And my art was a way to do that. I found that I met children and young people from every religious and ethnic background. So what I did was I realized that, well, in every culture, there's a spiritual thread that runs through it. So a lot of our stories have spiritual, moral, and, ethical threads that run through the whole story, which kind of help people to relate to what we're doing. It also pulls you into the story a little bit more because not just tapping on just Christian ideas, we also talk about some of the things that deal with Muslims and Buddhists and Hinduism, different things like that, and show how people can cross these bridges to each other. And so by doing that, most of our stories do have undertones, religious undertones, spiritual backgrounds, and, you know, moral and ethical things that help the outcome of the story. The process begins with character development and design, story development and background design. From there it goes to penciling the pages. Once the story is written, you pencil the pages according to the penciler's script. Once the pages are penciled, they go to an inker. What the inker does is go in and define the work so it can be set up for the colorist. The colorist then takes the work and adds in the wow factor. Basically, they put in the backgrounds, the special effects, and anything like that. Once that's done, it goes to a person known as a letterer. The letterer comes in and puts in all the word bubbles, the bangs, the pows, the zips, the different things like that, transitions. Once that process is done, it comes back to the editor. The editor looks through the book and makes sure the flow of the book is right, and then it goes to pre-press. Pre-press sets it up to go to print, which is basically how many pages, what's the cover going to be like, when, you know, where the barcodes go and everything like that. Once that process is done, then it's run through the printer. We define how many copies are going to be made out, if it's going to have a variant cover, which is covers that are set up to be sold at conventions only, to be set up at, those are called con exclusives. Covers that are set up for different comic book shops, because sometimes we make agreements with comic book shops to help us promote a certain book and to do a release on a book. That way, they'll have something that boosts their company, but it also helps them to help us by pushing our company, our product out there. I'd say it's a job that takes about anywhere from 12 to 14 people to actually pull it off, and we've been doing it with 3 for the last 2.5 years. You know, so it's a really interesting process. Sometimes it can be long and drawn out, but if you love it like we do, it's not even considered work. Mm-hmm. Angel Comics is based in Houston, but all of our artists do not live here. We have colorists in Spain, the Yucatan in Mexico. We have some in California and in New York, and we have people that help us with designs for logos in North Carolina and in Florida. Our main group of artists and writers all do live here in Houston. There are 4 of us that are the main artists and writers. Then we have another group of secondary artists that work with other books that we develop. And from there, through the internet, we pull everything together and coordinate it all the payments and everything like that are done that way. Our books are, we have something that a lot of major companies don't have. We have our in-house printing. The books are printed at a company known as Absolute Color. That's my partner. His name is Hugh Wynn, and he helped me out so much when I got started, because the most expensive part of publishing comic books is the printing. He saw that I was interested in doing it and how I was developing the books, and he decided to take an active role by helping to get me printed. He took his print shop. He allows me to have an office there. He actually let his graphic artist train me for over a year so that I would know how to do all the computerized process of putting the comic books together. We made an agreement that if I produce the comic books, he would help me by printing them and helping them ship them all over the country. So actually, like we said, there's something that Marvel and DC don't even have, because they farm all their printing out to companies in Canada and different places like that. Well, Absolute Color started out doing this as a project with myself and Hugh working together. And what it developed into is we're going to be doing Angel Comics and Absolute Color Comics Division, where we'll be able to put together con packages where you can have posters, cards, comic books, graphic novels, lithographs, anything that has to do with art and print. We're going to bring those together and make that available to any company that's out there. We try to set it up so that independent companies can come out with a quality product and still compete with the major companies. And so by making the printing process available to everyone and affordable to everyone, we've opened up a door that we could probably take over that part of the industry as far as printing and comic books go. Most of the printing for comic books and stuff are done by small press companies. The ones for Marvel and DC are Canadian companies, and they usually can do it at a cheaper price, but where they get you is the shipping. And once it's shipped back, and the more books you get, the cheaper the price is. The fewer books you get, which is what small companies were running into, they were having to pay higher costs. Angel Comics and Absolute Color have positioned themselves to offer a service to small press companies to have the printing available for them. From small business cards all the way up through large-scale posters, graphic novels, comic books, short books, and even paperback novels. We're also looking at offering the services of hardback books and perfect binding, which will allow you to put thicker books and more books together. There's some footage that you're going to see a little later on of a project that we're developing where we're combining music and comic books together. The Japanese have done this very successfully, but it's not really done that much in America. So what we decided to do was put together some songs that promote our comic books. The first one that we're working on is called Light of Day. It's about the young lady Kayla, which the Children of the Apocalypse is based upon. The music was written in a period of about 4 days. I put the tracks together and started working it out so that it would be something totally unique. I asked a couple of friends of mine who have a Japanese taiko drumming group if we can combine Japanese culture and Western culture, which is rock and heavy metal, to put together and combine to make this song called Light of Day. We also use something that they use in their culture a lot, which we took these children and it gives it a kind of a strange and eerie feeling to have them singing a part of the song. It sounds like a nursery rhyme, but it's actually something that taunts the creatures that she's fighting against. Yeah, some of the interesting things about this music video is we used a group from here in Houston, but the owners are actually from Japan. Taiko drumming is a form of drumming that they use in Japan as far as it's a very cultural and spiritual thing that they use. The drums range from the small high-end ones to the big giant drums that actually give this thundering sound that comes through. And I thought that would be really interesting to add that to the power and the strength of heavy metal to kind of give the story the action feel that we wanted. What we found is that the Japanese have combined music and anime together to be really successful here in America. The music is actually sold separately from the animes. They have bands that they use to actually write songs and create songs for their animations. We decided to do the same thing for comic books, and by doing this, I've actually written 8 songs for a CD that we're working on right now. Light of Day, Faded, and several other songs like Prima Donna and different things like that are going to be on this CD. So hopefully it'll be something that catches on really quickly and helps to boost the company. So we are putting together a CD called Methuselah Rising. It has all the songs basically based about comic books, and they should be available for release hopefully sometime in '09. The songs that we're doing are looking to bring in different genres of music. From rap to heavy metal to the ethnic-based types of music, such as taiko, the sitar, and the different instruments that they use in India and Africa and places like that. And this was important to me because in Coda you find that it's not just one group of people. The whole world is actually fighting against this tyrant that has come to power. And being from so culturally diverse, I thought it would be very interesting to bring in music, cultures, technology, and spiritual beliefs from every culture around the world and put it together. And that's why it's called Children of the Apocalypse. On this project, I composed the music, wrote the lyrics, and also decided to bring in some of my other musical friends, if you want to call them that. Basically, I brought in some keyboardists, some young people that compose music from Rice University, drummers, guitarists, and singers from different musical styles. I've been doing music since the early 80s. I played professionally for over 12 years. Started out as a singer, learned to play guitar, and from there several other instruments. Ironically, I can't read music, but I can play several instruments and compose music from ear. Today, what you're going to see is the rough footage of how we're basically pulling all these cultures together, how we're merging the East and West. It's really rough. It kind of just basically shows us rehearsing of how we do it. And you'll start to see it start to form and gel into this one project, which is The Light of Day. One of the interesting things was I met this group, Kary Tao. They're based out of Houston. They tour all over the country. The two owners of the company are from Japan, and they started the group here, and it's just grown by leaps and bounds. I thought they were really, really great, and when I got a chance to meet them, I thought I presented the idea to them of combining East and West. They thought it would be something interesting that had not been done here in America yet. And so they decided to come on board. That part is basically like with him, he'll do that. Their group consists of about 8 to 16 drummers. From every background you can think of. It's not just Japanese. And these guys are very, very professional, and as you'll see on the rough footage, they catch on fairly quickly.
Let's pause for a second. Let's get everybody here kind of on the same page. So what I think what we want to do here is kind of do that heartbeat thing at the very beginning, like he was talking. And then there's a break in the music when the drums kick in, and he starts doing that.
So then that's where you're just doing the build-up.
Right. And so we want to do
and then it's 4 times that they get.
Okay, what there?
Okay.
That's just.
Yeah, all you're doing is like a quick little.
And then you want ghost underneath? Have the thing underneath it, you just want to stop.
Well, you don't really have to do it right there because the guitar is doing a little, just like a little kicking thing.
Okay, so you just want
right, you got it. In conclusion, I'd like to thank everyone that's become a part of this project. They've seen the vision, they've helped it grow. Angel Comics is not just my idea, but it's all of us coming together to create this one vision of a Third Coast Comics, Third Coast Promotions, and we are the Third Coast here in Houston, Texas. I can't wait to preview our first books, which will take place at the MegaCon, February the 27th, 28th, and March the 1st. Once again, I'd like to thank everybody for taking the time to check out Angel Comics. Please feel free to ask us any questions by going to our website, angelcomics.com. There you can find our pictures, our development of books, where we're going to be, and what we're doing next. So join us there at angelcomics.com and have fun. Thanks again. I hope you guys enjoyed the interview.